Alright, hello. Who's that? Chris Chevy, hello. How are you doing today? That one. And let's change to that one. Right. Good, thanks for asking. How are you? I'm fine, except my legs are knackered. Last Sunday, we, as in one of the RC groups, which was my idea, I have to admit, we did a, was it 16.1 mile, I think, RC run, and I'm still suffering a bit. My right knee is quite painful, so getting up and down the stairs is a bit of a faff, but other than that I'm quite healthy. Which makes a change. 16.1 miles, 38,500 steps, 457 minutes. So that was fun. Alright, where were we? Last time the board wasn't working properly, and I've been round and I think I fixed it. It was just a case of this flux that I've got, which has encouraging Chinese writing all over it. Doesn't work. So I think an awful lot of the solder joints just weren't actually soldered to anything. So I went round and resoldered everything, and now it seems okay. So yeah, as long as it's fun, then it's worth it. Yeah. Well, I didn't get in until it was about midnight. I got home. But even on the way back, when everybody was limping a bit, we were all talking about when you're going to do it again. So, you know, it worked. Good fun. But I think next time we need to stop somewhere for lunch and have a bit of a break. Because doing the whole lot in one go on a couple of sandwiches and a Mars bar was pushing it a bit. But yeah. Alright, let's power this thing up. Is that out of focus again? Look at that. Why won't it focus properly? Alright, that's my hand. There we go. See, it can focus when it wants to. It just doesn't want to. Alright, so if you turn everything on, currently I've got this little speaker connected, but we will be using the speaker in the cab eventually. We can show it working. There's my bumper. So you can plug the front bumper into right bar in there, and bumper in there, and put it off to the side. There we go. And watch for smoke. There we go. It speaks a bit quiet, so let's just turn it up. Apparently I've got a little blue pot soldered on here as a volume control, so we'll need to tidy that up as well. I had some fun last night, saw a BMW lose its front bumper and tear in a parking lot. Tear? Tyre? Right. I'm guessing he was going around in very tight circles, skidding a bit and hit something. No? Being a BMW, it wouldn't surprise me. Right, so if we drive forward a bit. Oh, helps if you turn that on.
Calibrating. Drive forward.
Yes, he did. Nice.
Calibration complete.
Right, so it's all alive now. And if I spin it around a bit, there we go. You can see the lights at the back. Move the camera over a bit. There we go. So where I've got it set up is this switch. Hang on, move the battery. This switch here is the gearbox, and when you change your gear, you get the gear noise. So I don't know if you can hear it over the servo, but it is going ka-thunk, ka-thunk between gear shifts. What else have we got? That's the steering, obviously. That's the throttle, which starts the engine. If I lift the back up, get noises. And if I do the left stick to the left, it will turn everything off. So that's mode 0, which is off. And if I do this, it increases. So that's the side marker lights, which you can see down there. Side lights, which also enables the number plate light. That needs its own mode really, because currently it comes on with the side lights, which means when the headlights come on it turns off. So that's just a bit of firmware that needs updating on the chip. But if I keep going, those are the main lights, and the strip light, and then the fog lights. I think that's it, yeah. So when we get to it, we'll need another light mode for the roof light as well, and another one for the whatever it is, the flat panel light on the back. But there just happens to be, whoops, did that on purpose. There just happens to be 2 more outputs down here, so we should be able to do that. That should be fine. And of course, on the shoulder up here, if I do that, we have the indicators. And if we turn on the side markers and then do the indicators, you get the dual brightness. And of course the one on the other side works too. So far, so good. I think that's all the basics. So now we just need to actually install it properly. Oh, functions. Must have hit that with my hand. Turn it off. That is so cool. It is when it works. It was being a bit temperamental last time, but bad solder joints. Bad flux, not my fault. I should have bought some decent flux, but it's okay. It's working now. Oh, there's a beacon light on the roof as well. Forgot about that. A thing that looks like a big solar panel. It's got LEDs that chase and all sorts of different things. I've got no idea how to set it up. Can't find any information on it. But it plugs into a servo channel and it does things. So we'll have to experiment a bit when we get there and see what sort of signal it wants. Whether it wants on-off or a 3-position switch or what. Because I have no idea. So, loosen screw terminals and take the speaker away. Have you seen the new Volvo tow truck from Tamiya? Yeah, just about every single trucking group or whatever on Facebook has been posting pictures on it. It's difficult to miss. It does look rather good, but on, I think it was on Al's Hobbies, that their initial price is about £1,000. So it's quite expensive. And I'm guessing it's probably not going to come with all the actuators for the back end either. So that will probably be another couple of hundred. At a guess, don't know for sure. Either way, not going to be cheap. Get some power on that. Right. So power lead needs to get shortened a bit. That will go about there. I don't care about the price, I'm getting one, and yes, it's separate. Yeah, I figured, isn't it? It'd be a bit of an investment, because if you build it nicely, you can probably sell it for whatever you paid for it. Because a lot of people don't like building them. You do it all nicely. I got the light on. No, that's better. Can see. So I've got that to stick that. Got to shorten that. Need a short extension lead. I think I'll put one in a box down here. This is all the wiring that I took out of the truck initially. I'm sure there's there's an extension lead. That might be alright. Is that another one? No, that's a Y lead. What's on the end of that? The other light thing. This one. That has a Y lead with most of the wires chopped off. No, that's the only one I got. That'll do. I'm going to keep it as my private tow truck. Going to have it Mazda red. Nice. Certainly stand out. Alright, what channel? Suppose channel 9? What can we do with channel 9? I'm not the only one with a box with light for RC truck. Aux channels. Channel 9. So we can have a VR, but they're both in use. ST stick, I guess. SW, so we've got two switches. That can't be right. Key, that's the buttons on the back, that would make sense. And it doesn't say which is which. So we're going to say key 1 or 2. So key 1. And then swipe. Channel 9, key 1. So that's just a momentary thingamabob. Well, I'll try it when you get there. And see if that beacon light on the roof does anything useful. Is the iron hot? Yes. So I'm just going to desolder the power wires. That's the end. Put some fresh solder on the pads. A little bit of excess, that will run around there, come up, and yeah. So about there. Strip it off the end. Tin those. Alright, which way around? Pull it in on the bottom. And negative must be on the top. That's better. Tuck that out of the way. It's all back in the corner. Right. Let's move this camera down a bit, shall we? That's better. Right. So that's that tidied up. That'll all tuck in down there. So now we can stick that guy on. Running out of paper. So just squirt some alcohol on there, squirt some on there. A good wipe around. Right, rest of that vap off. Dear. Just use some servo tape, stick it on. No need for anything crazy. Right, now can I stick it on straight? That looks pretty good. So I think we'll reroute a couple of servo wire. Because it looks a bit naff having that across the top of the chassis. That'll need a zip tie around it or something. Otherwise it looks alright. So where are we going to run that? It needs to run up the side of the gearbox. And we need to try and fish it out. Up here somewhere. That's going to be interesting. see it. Oh, there's the end of it. That's a connector. That's now out of sight, so that needs to come up. Just up here somewhere. Already got a lot of wires sticking up just there. That might do it. Oh, I can see it. There it is. Strange. Right. Do this up. Not too tight because we don't want to pinch anything. Tuck that back in there. Yeah, that's not bad. It would be nice if these two were around the other side. Might be a little bit short. Give it a go though. Screwdriver. Get enough clearance. Might be alright. In doubt, bit of brute force. Oh, party round. Can I take the other screw out? That might help. There's a screw in there. Definitely a screw in there. Yeah, it's got a bit more clearance. Got slightly too much stuff stuffed in the gap. Better. Going in. Yeah, torch. There's a torch. How far off is it? Not far. Nope. wire. Just that one that's stuck. Let's pull that one back through. That should reduce the squish a little bit. That's going down. Hooray. Sure there's no screw in there. There isn't. Where did that go? See it M3x6. Tamiya. It's Tamiya. What have we got in here? Got lots of 8. There's a 6. There we go. Solid. Right. So now that one should go down there. This one will wrap round the back. Plug it in up there. So hopefully it gets held out of the way. Plugs in down there. Not looking too dreadful. There he goes. That comes up there. That wants to be on channel 2. In there. Alright. Tidy. So where should the volume control end up? Be good if you don't have to tilt the cab forward. So don't really want it sticking out the hole in the side. It just sat on top of the steering servo. Yeah, why not? Give me some glue. Glue gun. Which of course I should have done earlier, so it could warm up. Never mind. Oop. I assume you combined two 2.5 gig receivers to the same TX without issues. It depends on the transmitter. Most of your cheapy ones can have some problems. Spectrum radios with model match and similar things, they is that right? I'm trying to think. Model match matches to the model memory, so no, it should still be alright. But I think if you try and bind two receivers, each receiver has its own, what should we say, unique ID. So the transmitter will then be bound to that receiver. But does the receiver care? Probably not. Ooh, it's an interesting one. I know with the high-end radios, they essentially have two transmitters in. So you combine to two receivers and each receiver has its own 10 channels. But I think that's a bit of an oddball thing. Most of your basic ones don't do that. What would happen? Almost need to fire up two trucks on the same transmitter and see what happens. It's not something I've really tried since we were still on 27 and 40 meg, at which point nothing really cared. I asked because I can see what looks like two Turnigy RX pigtails. Ah, okay. That's because the 10 channel receiver that we've got in here has a diversity radio. So it will be receiving the same transmission on both of them. And the idea is one antenna would be like horizontal and the other vertical, or in a V is quite common and things like that. So if you're towards the edge of the range, one of them will probably have a good signal and the other one might not. If you look at the Spectrum, oh, is it AR 8000 I think is the one I used to use, that you have the main receiver which has a single antenna, and then you plug in another one which has a satellite receiver which has its own antennas, and you put them at 90 degrees to each other, and then the idea is if one of them is in RF shadow, the other one can still receive. And this is a similar kind of thing because this is really an aeroplane radio. It's way over the top in terms of range for these things. And having the two antennas is a bit of a pain to figure out what to do with, to be honest. But I don't know, it'll work. We'll figure that out when we get there. Just trying to get all the bits in tidily at the moment. Because, what is it? There's an 8-channel one. There we go. So there you go, that's probably what you're more familiar with a single antenna. The problem with that is, if you have like a metal surface on your model and the antenna is behind it, it will reduce the range vastly. So yeah, having two antennas, or essentially 2 receivers but on one system, you would have one in the shadow and the other one should still be visible. With the model aeroplanes, especially with the ones with a big engine on the front, if you're flying straight towards yourself, that engine will block an awful lot of the signal. So you have the antennas in different positions, and usually it works. I asked that for a reason. In effect, this is just a paired receiver aerial. Sort of. If you look at diversity receivers, I suppose. Let's have a quick look. Diversity receiver. So that, before you continue, is Google telling me they're gonna have all my information? Antenna diversity, also known as space diversity or spatial diversity, is any one of several wireless diversity schemes that use 2 or more antennas to improve the quality and reliability of a wireless link. That kind of sums it up. Yep. So in the case of the RC stuff, generally it's 2 radio receivers, but they're both feeding the same decoder. It's all because 2.5 gigs and 5.8 gigs, even worse, is not very good at going through things. Yeah, for park flyers, just about anything will work. When I first started with the 2.5 gig stuff, I was heavily paranoid, and I used to fly the great big multi-receiver radios in a GWS slow stick to test it. And I was somewhat surprised and relieved when it all worked as it was supposed to. But you should really expect that at that point, because companies like Spectrum had kind of cracked it by that point. These days, it doesn't really seem to matter what you use unless you're flying something really big. It all just works, which is very nice. Because, or is it? Look in one of these boxes. There you go. Used to use a lot of these. So that's a 35 meg radio. And these were like 80-90 quid. And that's what, 7 channels? Yeah, 7 channels. But it also has data output for signal strength and stuff. But it doesn't require a crystal, it's all synthesized. And I've got some other ones like that too. So I kept all these as spare, just in case 2.5 gig didn't work out. Turns out 2.5 gig works quite well. So there's the JR one, that's synthesized as well. So you just turn it on, hit the scan button, and it will find your radio. There's a Corona receiver. Yeah. Long since gone. Don't need them anymore. Still better than a lot of the old 27 meg stuff. I only got a couple left. But there you go. Classic Traxxas. 3 channel. Absolutely terrible. Even on a rainy day, sometimes they'd crap out. 27 and 2.4. Oh, you skipped 35. Yeah. No, I've still got all my 35 meg transmitters kicking around somewhere downstairs, I think. And compared to what you get now, even for the brand name stuff like Spectrum, the old Futabas were quite basic for the amount that you paid. I mean, I think you got what, like 6 or 8 model memories, and then you had to spend another 50 quid on a cam pack, which should get you another 8 or something silly. Yeah. Wouldn't want to go back. Much better these days. steel rule ready. And what we're going to do is put a load of glue on the back of the pot. Nice big blob of it. And then very rapidly get the steel rule and stick it down flat. My first Utaba cost me 100 quid from Avicraft, and that was second hand. Had to get higher purchase, shows age. Nice. Now, what did I start with? But my first flight radio was a JR. Can't remember the model, but it had 6 channels, and that was a very nice radio at the time. You wouldn't even use it as a beginner radio now. Nearly worked, didn't quite stick all the way there. Mine was a 4-channel, but with the stock 6-channel receiver. My wage then would have been less than 25 quid a week as an apprentice. Oh god, not good. Oops, I'm back. Where'd I put the ruler? Major investment, yeah. Let that cool down a bit. Now you look now and it's amazing what you can get for the amount of money. You do get the super expensive stuff still, but it's just crazy. The 6-channel, no, 10-channel radio that's there, they're what, like 50 quid or something? Bonkers. It's still a bit hot. If you're wondering why I'm gluing a pot to a ruler, it's because we want to have the pins on the back nicely protected, and preferably we want a flat bottom. This is a stainless steel ruler, so once my hot glue has cooled down, we can trim the excess off, put a bit of heat shrink around it so it looks nice, and we'll have a nice flat bottom that's insulated, and then we can stick the pot down somewhere sensible. I can't peel it off until it's cooled down, otherwise it will fall apart. apparently 100 quid then would be over 800 now. Right. Doesn't surprise me in the least. Oop. It's not bad. Okay, so the bottom of that's all nice and safe now. And nothing will be able to short it. Have I got any black heat shrink that will go around the pot? That might. Ooh. No. Bigger heat shrink. That's smaller. Have to be this stuff. That looks way too big. It's not. Okie dokie. I hope it all goes well with the work today. I'm off to repair a PC that I need for work. Have fun. Yep, have fun as well. Work. Okay. Let's see, where's a good spot? Maybe stick it on top of the gearbox. No, because he's got a gearbox cover. That won't work. If I stick it there, probably work. Doesn't look too out of the way. Yeah. Can't really get to the knob there. Yeah, that'll work. So if we warm up the glue. Oh, it's quite hot. And then stick it onto the side of the chassis. See if I got it hot enough. Probably not. You doing a good job, mate. Cheers. Who said that? It's purple on the background. I can't read it. Freelander 1234. Nice. No, that didn't stick. Well, use a bit of servo tape then. Probably stick better. Where's my alcohol? Alcohol. Adrian. Alright. So you're Freelander, are you? Yes. Well, you can see what the progress looks like now anyway. Oh, I just realised where you got the name from. I guess you're a new user then. Just picked it up. Why aren't you out driving it then? That work? A little bit awkward. No, don't like it there. Taking it out tomorrow. Ah, that's what you're up to. You'd rather drive your big toy than the little toys. I see how it is. Yeah, that works. And once your cover goes on, it should look alright. Same colour as the body, sort of. So yeah, I'll bring the truck with me to Ben's meet next week, because hopefully it will very definitely be ready by then. It should be ready before tea time today, actually. That's not too bad. Might give that another coat of paint. It's gone blotchy. That's alright. That'll come off with 4 screws. Right. What next? I suppose put connectors on the stuff in the cab. Might bring trailer. Oh, I would. Did you see the pictures that Ben posted of the bridge that Pete's made for him? Looks huge. just for the people that aren't on the groups. Let's see if I can. Which one is it? Overhead. Ooh, there you go. That's the bridge we're talking about. Not painted in the pictures though. But it's the flattest bridge I've seen. Should be able to get up there with the trailers, no problem. Might not even need a run up. Alright, let's see what we've got to do on this. Alright, so from the roof of the curb we have 3 wires, which is the beacon light, which is this thing that looks like a solar panel. Still not entirely sure what that wants from the radio, but I'm sure we can figure it out. And then one of these is the bar light on the roof and the other is a speaker. So we need to work out which is which. And I need a multimeter. That must have a big hall. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be quite big. Either that or you'll have to go across the bridge and then reverse back. Which will be interesting. Or maybe have the door open and go outside or something. I don't know. I'm sure Ben knows what he's doing. He seems to have it all in hand. And he's got me going there, I think 7:30 in the morning. So helps set everything up. So it should be fun. I think that's a speaker. Early, yeah. Well, that gives us, in theory anyway, a couple of hours before normal opening time. But I think a lot of people are going to get there earlier anyway, since that seems to be what people do. Like you at the Midlands place, you seem to get there, what, before 9 or something? Lights. So that's the lights, that's the speaker. What can I do to mark it with? Stick a zip tie around it then. We'll deal with this one last because it doesn't need a connector. Yeah, I try it, yeah. At least you get a good seat, there's that. And of course the zip tie is now stuck. Yeah. Right, so that's the speaker. Forget about that. Right, so how are we going to do this? Because the receiver is on this side, so that wants to plug into the little extension that will run down the bottom. And that's a light, so the light needs to be on the other side. So we kind of want these to come down to the corner, and then when the cab closes they'll push up. And that should then be behind the interior. So I need another little cable tie mount thing. Use one of these and peel the old foam off. Because for some reason the glue's dried out on these. Can't get the foam off. And yeah. Okay, get rid of that trash. Cut a fresh bit out. Use that. Right, so put that about there. Is that right? Or am I backwards? I'm backwards. That's the light side. That's the radio. Does that change anything? Because we still want it to fold back on itself. So no. Yeah, that's where I'll stick it. There we go. Let's say about there-ish. Zip tie, let's use a red one. Right round. Post that through there. Go out the wires. Flat. Yeah, that's pretty good. So now, once these are all connected up, when the lid closes, they should all happily go up and down and not get caught up in everything. So that's those ones. In addition to those, you've also got to wire up the power for this little fella, which is the rear, what is it, Scania panel light, not a man one. So that needs to find its way inside the cab somehow. Now we could drill a little 1mm hole, and if we did that behind the bracket, then if ever this gets removed, it will get hidden, so that makes sense. But I haven't got any drills. They're all downstairs. Figures. Alright, let's take this off. Oh, he's got one on the inside too. There you go. So it'll have both. So I want that to be about there. Can I make a little mark? Might be enough to see. Yeah. That wants to be about there-ish. Cool but weird. Yeah, a little bit. But the general idea is that perhaps not initially, but it will be you'll be able to turn it on and off as you like. So if there's like a I don't know, a nighttime slow tour around the track, then you can turn on all the fancy lights. But if you're like driving around normally, then you can disable it. Because the radio, we've still got this 3 position and these 2 position switches that aren't doing anything. So we should be able to have manual control over stuff like that eventually, maybe not initially. That'll do. Right, I need to get some drill bits. I shall be back in a minute or two, and I'll probably get some more tea as well because I'm running on empty. So I'm going to pop that on and turn that off. I'll be back in a few minutes. Right, got some tea and some drill bits, and now we can continue. Where are we? Wide main. Ooh, just as the song changed. So how big of a hole do we need to get this wire through? It's going to be quite small. 1.2? Yeah, a bit bigger than that. Let's try 1.5. That should work. I'll have to move the cab over a bit because there's a camera directly above it and I won't be able to get the drill in. I made that mistake last time, so gently does it. There we go. That looks so small. It needs to be just big enough to get the wire through. That way if the panel gets removed, you won't see the hole, hopefully. It'd be a bit of a pain to fill. Because all of this is painted, even the white is painted a slightly cream off-white colour. Oops. Oh, it just fits. There we go. Not the hole, the bits to drill with. Well, if you want a 1.5mm hole, you need a 1.5mm bit. Now I've got some micro drills somewhere, and they go sub-millimeter. Yeah, rather easy to break those things. Should do. Might have to loosen them again at some point when we put the cab on the chassis, just to get the metal bit level. There. That'll do for wiring up. That is almost impossible to get that in Norway. I'm still looking. Oh, what? Micro drill bits? I think mine are all downstairs again. Surprise, surprise. Usually you get them in like a little plastic container with a series of drill bits. Quite often you get the small bit and then it gets wider at the end. So you can actually fit it in a normal chuck. So let's see, that's that one. So we're going to need some thicker wire on that so it's actually manageable and won't break off. Yes, and 1.5mm drill bits. Wow. Huh. Just about any, I should say, model engineering supplier will do small stuff like that, and a lot smaller. Even a lot of more traditional model shops will do drill bits down to that size. Probably not so common these days. Right. So this is when I wish I hadn't put that zip tie on there yet, because we're going to need... Oh no, I can get the wire through. Okay. I can't get it out. Okay, right. So we're going to want that to come with the rest of these wires. And let's see, let's do something like that. So that needs to splice about 15mm from the end. About there. There's an RC shop near me and they don't have it. They have almost everything else, but not that. Ah. Can they not order it in specially? Or of course, I suppose there's always China ordering from eBay. I asked and they said no. Probably not enough profit in it for them to bother, I suppose. Which is a shame, but there you go. Bench is filling up with junk again. Yeah. I think you'll have to do the eBay thing. Just get one of the little selection boxes with a whole bunch of different ones in. That'll do. Right, gonna have to wet my sponge on the soldering station, so I'll be back again in a sec. I'll double check in a sec. Just get these tinned up. I think it says on the Thingiverse page as well, actually, for the printed parts. If Thingiverse is working today, of course, because it seems to be up and down. More often than not down at the moment, unfortunately. My only advice with those servos is if you get some, make sure you get a couple of extras, because I find about, I don't know, 1 in 20 have a mechanical fault. MG90S. Is that the fella? Yeah, that's the fella. MG90S. I've had a couple where the gearbox on the top has actually been slipping the gears due to the mould not being very good. But more often than not they're okay, and they're so incredibly cheap that even if you buy 10 of them and you throw one away, they're still cheap. So but there are better servos in that size. I can't think of the part numbers off the top of my head, but it's a common size. Lots of manufacturers have servos of that dimension. Is that actually going to fit? No, that heat shrink's too small. Bugger it. It got slightly bigger. Trouble with heat shrink is you end up using the same size a lot, and then you run out of that, and then you end up with absolutely miles of stuff that's either slightly too big or slightly too small. Black. I haven't got any black. That might fit. I so used to big servo for RC truck, not small RC cars. Right. Now I think they fall into the wrong one. The category of a 9-gram servo, even though they're heavier than that. But I think that's the category. No, that doesn't fit. I'll use some of this. That'll be alright. Good to know. I just got the RC car because my stepdad wanted us to build on undercover police cars. Nice. Brown paper bags. Ooh, it's a bit wispy. You're going to have all the sirens and the lights and everything, I suppose. Oh yes, yep. No, they're nice little trucks to build up, because even if you completely screw it up and wreck the chassis or whatever, it doesn't cost a lot just to replace it. It's very low stress. When you're modifying some of the expensive stuff, you always have in the back of your head that if you mess it up, it's going to cost you hundreds of quid to get parts and stuff. Come on. I refuse 1/16 cars and trucks. I'm going to upgrade on with the ETC, ESC and servo and hope them both will fit. So that's the WPL trucks, I suppose, or different ones. Cool. Alright. So we want that about like that. Bit of hot glue. I don't know, I bought them from the Wish. Oh, it could be anything then. You got patience with that wire? I suppose. I think I just do it so often that I don't really think about it, and I usually have something else to do in the background. And streaming stuff's really quite good because I can look at the chat and mumble on without looking like I'm talking to myself. No, I like doing tidy wiring. It's quite good fun. If it's still working in a few years' time after being opened and closed and everything, then it's all good. It's worth doing. Blob on that. I just get fed up. It's not something you can rush, I don't think. If you have ADHD, it's hard to do. Yeah. One of my friends has that in quite an impressive manner. Several trucks have made it to his neighbours' gardens before now. I was always the quiet one, sat in the corner, happily minding my own business, doing my own thing with this sort of thing. In school and work and everything, quite happy. Put some music on, maybe not this music. Oh, Benefactor. Game music, sort of. And off you go. Stuck? Yeah. Right. So that should now light up the panel on the back, but it won't be very bright at the moment because we've got only a little bit of current from the meter. Oops. If I do this. And turn it on. If I turn this light off, you might just see something. You too dim. Can I see something? That's the important thing. Yeah, so it is lighting up. It's just too dim to see with the light. I can sort of see a red glow on the edge. So electrically it works. When that gets wired into the proper power supply, that should be ever so bright. I have ADHD and I try to do a good job on the truck and car. I just need music and it all goes well. Oh, that's good. At least you've got a workaround for it. I think quite a lot of people struggle with that. And they never find a way to, what should we say, cope. Alright, more planning. So the cab's going to sit like that way round. So that's the lighting side. So that needs to go across and then back. And the plug-in point, where's the end of that gone? It's in there somewhere. It was in there. I've buried it somewhere. Oh no, I haven't. It's on the top. To it. So that's where that one's got to plug in. For me, the music has worked and keep me calm. Yeah. What I find with music is having something playing constantly. What should we say? You can feel time passing normally. When I'm working in complete silence, everything seems to take an awful long time. So that's that one. So that's going to be down here like this. So if that comes round, probably one, I don't know, off about 1.5 inches off that, and it should be good. Oops. avoid the heavy things. Right. Get these out of the way. And now we need a connector on the end of this, which means we get to fight with my not very good crimping tool again. Spills. And 3-pin housing. And the crimp tool. I'm regretting I sold my RC Volvo timber truck. That. One. Nearly straight. Yeah. I think quite a lot of people got those timber trucks when they first came out. The only problem with it was the original servo position. It broke the servo every time I turned the wheel. Did it manage that? I don't know, the weight of the truck was too much for the servo, and it was a 17k servo, Struth. That's not good at all. Yeah, that'll work. Ground power signal. When I put the front of the truck under the cab, it worked fine. Get that straight. Yeah, spin right round. Whoops. There it goes. Are we in? Not quite. There it is. And the original engine that came with the truck, I got screen when you drove it forward and backwards. Oh. That happens sometimes if the bushings are dry, but that's not that common with the out-of-the-box ones. Alright, let's tidy up a little bit. And I think we'll play with the beacon light on the roof and see if we can figure out what we do to make that light up. See if we got the right thing plugged in. And smell like it was going to burn. Ooh. That sounds like maybe the drivetrain was stiff? No? Loading up the motor too much or something? So I got scared. Right, where's my battery gone? Where is the battery gone? Can't have gone far. And just sold it. Yeah, probably fixable, but it's whether the annoyance of fixing it outweighs the running of it. Where's not under there? Is it under here? No. How can you lose a 6 cell battery in an area this small? Ah, I'll bet it's under the transmitter. There it is. Do it. Look under, you're close with under the truck. Alright, so turn him on. Oh, it's doing something. Don't know if it's supposed to do that, but it did it. Right, so we bound a button. Other button. Hold the button. No. Yeah, definitely got 9. So that doesn't work. So let's turn him off again. Well, it's close enough. Yep. So aux channel. Set it 9. 9. Let's change that to switch. I've got switch A. Alright. In theory that should do the same thing. Yeah, so that's not going to help. Let's try switch. Is it C? C. Okay, turn you on. Lots of red lights, blue lights, white lights. Oh, it's doing something. If anybody fancies looking for an instruction manual for a beacon light that looks like this, be my guest. But at least we know it's working now. Ooh. Actually, I suppose I should turn that off, shouldn't I? There you go. Hey. So it seems going from center to down changes the pattern. Then going from center to up changes the color. So that's red. That's blue. That's red again. That's blue and red. White. I think that's probably the best control that we've got to use. So I think I'll leave it there. I had the beacons on the wheels. Beacons on the wheels. Tell you what, this needs a Night Rider mode that goes back and forth. I think they missed a trick there. Unless I missed that as a white, red. And the outside. Flashy and on. Oh, is that going to fade? Probably never find that mode again now. If it's going to have a Night Rider mode, I need to talk to. Well, I think this beacon comes from Wish, if I remember rightly. That's where Adrian got it from. I think I had a look for an instruction book a while ago and I couldn't find anything. Whee. It's pretty neat though. Ah, there we go, it does fade. And off. So we'll go up one, up one. Oh, there we go, mixed colours. Okay, quite like it, but I think the control method could do with being improved, but you know, for an off-the-shelf widget, that's alright. Right, anyway, onward. Can't sit playing with this all day. We have it working, that's the main thing. I'll put the battery where I can see it this time. Right, so what we got left? Got that was a speaker. That's the panel light. And so that's the roof light. So the roof light gets its own channel. The panel light for the time being will need to be wide in to the other output, so we need to make a little Y lead. But that's okay, so that will need a 2-pin socket crimped onto the end. Okay. So let's get this roughly the right sort of length. About like that will do. If I put it on wheels, push it up, change mode, push it down, changes colour. Ah, oh, you mean the little VR things on the side? These little guys. Currently, that one is doing the indicators, separate from the steering, and that one is doing the coupler. And if you move it the other way, when it gets the wireless trailer fitted, it will make the trailer legs go up and down. So they're already kind of in use, and they need to be center stable. Otherwise, in the case of the coupler would possibly be unlatched while you're driving, which isn't good. And in the case of the indicator, one would flash or the other. The beacon light, although it's not ideal, doesn't seem that bothered by the fact that you power up with the switch in the odd position. So it's a little bit of a compromise, but it'll work. And that still leaves us free in the future with the 2 on-off switches to do the 2 light panels. As a little upgrade. So not ideal, but it'll do. Can't have everything, at least not on the first go round. Just don't want to break the switch. Yeah, double switches should be okay as long as they're mounted nicely, and they do have a nice big nut on the top. They should be alright with the repeated use. Alright. Oh, crimping. Full spills. Isolation crimp. Cool. If we get that to focus any better. Not really. Tried. I need some better cameras one of these days. Maybe if I can reach the affiliate thing, I'll invest in some, what would it be, Logitech 920 cameras or something? 22? Whichever it is, whichever's the nice one. Okay, a couple of housings. That's a single pin, that's no good. That's a double pin. No, they're not, they're 4-pin. Where's the 2 pins? That is a 2 pin. Oh, I see. One of the single pins found its way into the 2 pins. 2 pin. 2 pin. Which way up? Make it the same as all the rest. So I've got that side and then ground on the left. One. Right. So that's the cab all connected up. That doesn't need a connector because it's got a screw terminal. So we just need a Y lead and then wire up the panel on the interior. So we're getting close to the final assembly. Alright, what should we do with this? That goes that way up. So if we run it up the corner and then back with a thicker wire, yeah, that should work. So we need a splice about there. See if I can strip the end off this. It's ridiculously fine wire. Might need a different wire stripper. I don't think my fingernails are strong enough. Oh, no, got that one. Try the other one. Come on. Ah, got it. Nice. Some more heat shrink. There's a nice black bit in there. That's so thin, yeah. I've got a rather nice, very mechanical wire stripper that would do it very easily, but that's downstairs. And I can't be bothered. So, you got there though. You just have to be very gentle with the knife and just score the insulation a little bit. And when you pull on it, it will tear. But if you press slightly too hard, you go straight through the wire, which isn't any good to anybody. And speaking of wire, oh, there it is. Gonna splice some chunkier wire on it and then glue it to the underside of the interior. So if this gets tugged around a bit, it won't break. Because I think this, if it gets pulled about too much, it will just give up in no time. Tinned up. Tidy up the ends. Oh, forgot the heat shrink. Oops. There we go. Okay. So we want that to be right down in the corner, but not pulling on there. Just get a little blob of hot glue. And put your fingers in and hold it down. A bit hot glue. Let's see what we got on the stream manager. 4 viewers, 25 followers. Ooh. And yet there's loads of users in chat. I really wish I could figure out why those two never line up. Who does it say is in chat? We've got Aten, Chris Chevy 1990, Commander Root, Freelander, Lurks. I know all those names. And we've got V and K. Don't know you, but hello. Windsock, seen that name before. And Winsin Horror. Horror? Honor. Need glasses. Cool. Alright, bend that back on itself. And we need another blob of glue out there. Classics on the fritz. Nice. Pretty good. Have a blob of glue at the end just to stop the loop doing anything daft. Not quite gone off yet. Can I ask, do you live in the UK? I do. I'm in Oxfordshire. Leafy green Oxfordshire. About, what, 20 minutes away from Oxford? 15 if you're in a hurry. Or if you want to go the other way, I'm about 40 minutes from London. So, central south, as they say. Right, so that should fit on the front. You could do something else with that there. Maybe tuck it down there. Yeah, that'll work. So that will go on there, and the cable will go underneath, so that will work. So we're done with him, so now we need to route the bumper cable, which will be fun, because I've kind of blocked up the hole it needs to come out of now. Never mind, I'm sure we can work it out. Maybe if I put a bit of tape around it to hold the two bits together, that'll probably help. That should do. Alright, how am I going to get that through there? There's a bit of a gap. I can get a finger through. So if I get a finger through, I can get everything else through. Maybe. Can't even see what I'm doing. Oh. Yep. Flip it over. Get out of the way. Ah. That's the first stage. I just heard how you taught this, and I dated someone from Bristol a few years ago. Ah, now you see, people from Bristol all sound like farmers, you see. So you can't compare that to the smooth accent of someone from Oxford. It's almost a different language down in Bristol. Especially when you get out of the town. Cool. Can't understand a word anybody's saying. No, just a, what shall we say, a slightly unfair stereotype. It's true though. That'll do. So that's the front bumper connected up now. So when the cab goes on, that will just bolt up to the metal plate. Hopefully it'll work. So that's all that. The interior's got this big cable, so I need to make a Y lead and crimp a connector on the end of the interior panel light. I bet I put all my pin header away yesterday. I did. Yeah, can't see any. That's the trouble. When you tidy up, the next day you need something that you just put away. No, I haven't got any. Right, I have to go downstairs again and grab some pin header. I'll be back in a minute. Joining late. What was the issue with the light controller board? Bad solder joints. The flux I've been using, which is this stuff, it should be okay, but it's terrible. So a number of the pins around the processor simply weren't really attached to the board. But after carefully going around the outside with some fresh solder, it all seems quite happy now. Now, I'm not in a hurry, so if I was hurrying through or had a deadline or something, I'd probably go a lot quicker, but I'm not. I'm just cruising, relaxing. Mucking about, chatting. Now, how come your name's Blue, the clone, and everybody else was purple? I'm having trouble telling them apart. '68 Charger, Khrushchev in 1990. Clone. Yeah. There's probably a setting somewhere that I've missed. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, I need to make a Y lead or something, don't I? Need some wire. I've got any thinner wire, so I can cram two into one spill. Got some red. That stuff's too thin. Ah, black. That'll do, that'll get us going. I set my name Blue, but for me everyone else is orange. Right. Good to know everything works properly. Alright, let's see. That needs to come off one of those bottom ones. So let's make it about that long. Yeah. Two red wires. Oh, no, that's solid core. That's no good. Where's my black stranded stuff gone? Sure, I had some up here somewhere. What have I got in these boxes? I could use some of that. Bit stiff. Pink, brown, black. No, that's thick. No, don't like any of that stuff. Maybe I'll sacrifice one of these things. If I can find a socket, I can plug that straight in. Aha! Use a JST. Here we go. Are you on PC? Both. Does that count as 2 viewers? In which case, everybody should be doing that. Right, so that'll go to here. Yeah. There, I think. Well, it's red on the stream chat. What colour is it on the regular chat? Also red. What? Why everybody else is orange? I don't know. Inconsistent. It's a different colour though, so you do stand out. go. That one in there. That one in there. That in? No. Do. Right, let's try again. That should go into 14. Hopefully it'll fit this time. Hooray. That plugs in there. Now this light for the panel light will plug into 1/2 of this Y lead. Which really we want to run underneath, I think. So we can tuck it out of the way. Yeah. And that under there. Plug you in there. Red to red, black to black. That's good. Leave it hanging out so I can get the other one in when we get to it. Okay. Now for the fun part, getting the cab on. What do I do with the screws? So now, so I need 2 self-tappers. And the cab. Am I going to do this without being able to see? Oh, that's lined up. Leave that loose. Goes the other one. Get these up. So that's the cab on. Seems alright. Bit of a tight fit. We want these wires to run a bit along the side there, really. Ooh, it's a really tight fit, but fit it does. Yeah, that's directly over the expansion connector. So I have to move the where I've clamped the wires down a bit. That should be okay. Out. Just peel these bits off. Looking forward to hear what the speakers sound like. I haven't tried them yet. do. Right, now, when we lift it up, other than the corner, and the antenna. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Perfect. Alright, now which is which? One of these is the roof light and the other is the bar light. Get the meter going again and see which does what. Ooh, that's the roof light. Okay, so you need to go into the last crash output. There, put that there, just so I know. And then you need to go into the other half of that Y lead. Wires in there somewhere. Ooh, I saw it. A pair of tweezers. Yeah, there we go. And hook that up to there. That can tuck out the way. Cool. Right, now we can route that one a bit more sensibly. So that wants to come down this side. Plug into there. So that's those two. That one needs to connect to this one. Like so. And then that is the speaker. So that wants to come down and then kind of loop back on itself a bit. So chop that off about there. Should sound okay. It should do. It's set up so it appears as 4 ohms. So it should be right. Alright, little screwdriver. It is. Should sound okay, like a box. Still need to do something with the horn on that, so it doesn't sound like some, I don't know what you'd call it, but anemic foghorn. I suppose is the best thing you can, yeah. Right, so that's most of it. Something getting in the way. Not at the front. Oh, there it goes. Right, need my laptop so I can set the output up for number 14 and 15. Because we've got, what do we plug in? The roof light and the panel lights. So be back in a sec. Alright, so you need the memory card off the board. Use that as a prop, maybe? It's getting stuck. Ooh, it's pulling on that. There we go. Tweezers. So hopefully there's just enough space that we can get the memory card out. It's a little bit tight. Quite a lot tight. Not sure if the music fits with this. Ah, gotcha. Memory card. And somewhere I've got an adapter. Here it is. Plug that in there. Right, let's set this up. So all we should need to do is plug that into the SD socket on the laptop. Open with File Manager and open config.txt. So at the moment I've only got limited output types, but in the near future when there's a firmware update for the board there will be more, and then it'll turn off independently. But for now they'll have to be linked in with something else. So which order did I plug them in? I can't remember for 5 minutes. That one is the roof light. So roof light is the last one. So what shall we have that come on with? Let's put that as... which way round was it? That one. Last one is the roof light. Right. So we make that aux 1. And let's make the other ones come on with headlights. And we need that one also to come on with headlight. Save. So that will probably work as a setup, just to make sure everything actually turns on and off. So pop the card out. And see if we can get it back in here. Probably should have had the radio a little bit further over because it's just a little bit tight. Yeah, still might have to do that. Still, it's only stuck on with servo tape, so it should be quite easy. Oh, it's in. Right, let's move the receiver over a bit. Glue works. Servo tape, I should say. Yeah, that should be a bit better. Right. So in theory, I think everything is now wired. Make sure the antenna's not caught up. So we just need to make sure these wires are going somewhere vaguely sensible. Could do with a bit of heat shrink around them, I think, just to bind them together so they're not floating about quite so much, because that's a bit rough. But it closes, it definitely closes. So if I put it that way round, you can have the bumper visible. Right. Let's smoke test it.
Waiting for signal.
Well, it speaks. Turn the radio on. That's got to be up. Right.
Calibrating. Drive forward. Calibration complete.
It makes noises. So that's the running lights. Hang on. Let's turn that one off. And do this. There you go. Side lights, headlights. Oh, the Scania light is all lit up inside. And the one on the back's pretty bright, isn't it? Seems to be fluctuating a tiny bit. You might need to put a series resistor in there. The other one seems alright. So we'll have to do something on that one. Roof light works. That's all the lights. No flickering with the steering. Beacon light is all good. Horn works. Yep. Oh, it's pretty good. So we just need a series resistor for the light panel on the back, because it's a little bit unhappy with the current, but I kind of half expected that because of how it's wired from factory. So that'll need a bit of experimentation, but I'll do that after we're finished. So let's stick the bumper on. And then I think it's tea time because I'm getting hungry. Let's put the light back on. Right, so that offers up to there, and we need the 2 long screws so we can get the ball bar on. That's an Allen head. Yeah. So that through there. That should line up on there. And that music is ever so quiet while I'm doing this. Oh, there it goes. It waited for me to say. Right, just a couple of turns. Can we get that under there? Yep. Is that actually going in? I don't think it is. Hang on. There's something wrong with this picture. I got that backwards. Yeah. I'm ready for my sandwiches. Need a tea break. It nearly fits that way. Is that right? Hang on, if it goes that way, it won't go. No, it has to go that way around. Oh, that's it. Upside down, of course. Silly sod. Yeah. It happens. I reckon with enough brute force I could have made it fit. Where's the hole? Where's the hole? That started in the thread. Are we in? Not really. It's really awkward, this thing. There she goes. Get the other side in. That's got it. Right. I think it needs magnets to hold the bull bar on. Slack. That should do. Close her up. Pop a couple of body clips in. Oops. And there we go. Tidy up a little bit so I've got a bit of space. Put the wing mirrors out, of course. And it all works beautifully. Very cool. So there we go. That's about all I've got for today. Let's put that like that. There we go. So one truck as good as done. Just a few minor little odds and sods to do. But that will I'll do that off camera because it won't take long at all. So yeah, as always then, thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow the stream if you're not already. I'm going to get some tea. So see you next time, and see you next week, Adrian, with a truck.